Lower East Side, where Anya Kamenetz now lives, stands in sharp contrast to Baton Rouge and New Orleans, Louisiana, where she grew up.
We have been living here for about a year and a half, and we picked the neighborhood because people said it was the last bargains downtown.
With the help of scholarships and the generosity of her grandparents, Anya graduated from Yale without any student debt of her own. An expert on the topic since writing Generation Debt, Anya first reported on her generation's finances as a freelance writer for a series in the Village Voice newspaper.
Immediately I discovered that, this was the story of my friends, this is the story of people that I met. What was happening to young people around the country was part of a bigger pattern. Student loan debt, the credit card debt, the changes in the job market, the fact that the old middle-class bargain was no longer working the way it was supposed to work for people my age. Statistics show that people these days in their 20s are holding about 10 jobs in their first 10, 12 years in the workforce. And so with all that leaping around, it becomes a lot harder to pursue, a simple kind of plan, a one-point plan or a five-point plan.
Is your interest in the entire generation, or is it principally in those who are students who are continuing their education in college?
No, my interest is absolutely in the entire generation. You have about half of all students who are going to college getting some experience, but only less than a third come out with a degree. And so there's this large gray area of people, dropouts. And that is an incredibly interesting group to me because they're people that took that chance, made that investment, and for some reason or another it didn't come through. And that's who I think we really need to be focusing on right now.
What do you think, or do you think, there's something particularly remarkable about your generation?
Generations are defined in hindsight, and they're defined by history, and it's going to be history that's going to write the book on this generation. I think that the history that's going to be written about my generation is going to talk about how we've responded to unbelievable challenges like no other generation for at least a century, I think. I mean, when you're talking about America's place in the world, when you're talking about global warming, when you're talking about just dealing with inequality, both within the country and within the world, the question is going to be, how did young people respond? How did my generation, stand up and respond to those? And I think that has yet to be written.